I would request Dr. Alok B Mukherjee and Mr. Bharath, Director and Co-founder of Lead Next Tech India Private Limited, to be to give the presentation. And Nitya, please take the dais.
It's my honor to speak about the next speakers for the day. That is Dr. Alok B Mukherjee. He's currently associated with Leeds Next Tech India Private Limited, and he is a co-founder and director, product research and analytics. Before joining the Leeds Next Tech, he was he had worked as a private limited. Sorry, he had worked as a chief remote sensing GIS analyst, and also he had worked as a guest lecturer and remote sensing specialist respectively. He's been involved in developing space, earth tech, analytic models for investigating various aspects of the earth system using mathematical, statistical, and AI and ML frameworks. Dr. Alok B Mukherjee has written research-based conference article books and analytical stories in the past. And his technical strength is that domain lead system ecology, ecology, climate and disaster, risk management and sustainability, modeling and analytics, mathematical modeling, and mathematical statistics based in frameworks, geostatical modeling, information techniques, and statistical machine learning are his technical strength. He's also an external board member from Amity Institute of Environmental Sciences from Noida. So that's Dr. Alok B Mukherjee. And along with him, I would also like to introduce another co-founder and director at Lead Next Tech India Private Limited, that is Mr. Bharath Settipally. Mr. Bharath is on a mission to build human-centric solutions using next-generation technologies. He supports a team of talented data scientists, engineers, and developers who build innovative products in domains such as geosaptical, artificial intelligence, and cloud computing. Mr. Bharath has over 9 years of experience in the IT industry and working as a chief manager at Leeds Connect Services Private Limited. He's engineering manager at Mindtree and full stack developer at Dhruva E. So that's the team for you, and all the best. Thank you.
So good evening, everyone. Yeah, so me and Dr. Alok will be giving the presentation. So I'll just introduce about the value chain, and then we'll talk about what exactly we are doing in Leeds Connect in the context of value chain. So today's topic is very relevant in the context of the value chain. Also, the dignitaries have spoken about the importance of value chain, but we'll be going into the details of developing a sustainable value chain. What are the key challenges that currently the agri industry is facing in how to bring all the stakeholders together, right? So before getting into the details of the topic, so I just wanted to give a brief introduction about the company. So Leeds Connect is founded in 2009 to connect agri value chain, to develop a sustainable, scalable, and profitable agri ecosystem. So we started our journey as a analytics organization, so providing services to insurance companies, financial institutions in the context of agri tech and agri risk management. That is like helping them in settling claims, primarily in the insurance domain. Then we started providing services to the nodal agencies of Government of India as well as other agri-tech industries, right? So we are also a business associate with the State Bank of India for sourcing and servicing the agri loans across pan-India. So we have presence in more than 100 districts across India. And primarily, we are focused in northern states. And of course, our MD, CMD has introduced that we are aggressively getting into the southern states of India. So we have been talking about a lot about value chains, right? So what exactly when we'll just get a brief understanding of value chains, right? So what are value chains? So anything so value chains are nothing but a set of processes and flows to bring a product from the the production to the market, right? That to the consumer side, right? So the very basic definition. So when we actually talk about value chains, so who's involved in that, right? Who are the actors, right? It can be like any players, be it public entities, private entities, the actual producers, or the farmers, or the actual consumers, right? Anyone who is actually conducting some value-adding activities, or creating some value-adding activities. So they are the part of the value chains, right? So the example here which we are talking about is agriculture value chain. So there are n number of value chains which we can talk about, right? So milk value chain. So there are anything which we can connect from end to end can be part of the value chain, right? So if we talk about the actual, the typical agri value chain, right? So what all the processes which are involved in it, like from starting with the production, so where who are the actors involved in the production, right? Like smallholder farmers in the context of agri value chain when we talk, and the farmer associations or cooperatives, which we've been discussing in the morning also, and harvesting and transportation, and primary processing and secondary processing, distribution, packaging and handling. So we just heard a gentleman talking about the packaging and the importance of packaging and various innovations happening in the packaging side. And the bringing the final leg is the wholesaler and the retail markets bringing into the market. So these are all the typical flows, of agri value chain, right? So if you talk about the ecosystem of agri value chain ecosystem in India, so at one side you have the service chain where actually the suppliers, like the farmers, various like producers, like primarily the farmers are actually working on it, and also food processing industries, packaging and distribution, retail, restaurants and markets. On the other side, you have the resources, like you need of course the various resources to connect the ecosystem, right? So which they plays an important pivotal role in enabling this ecosystem, right? Like for example, banks, microfinance, and financial institutions, pesticide input companies, output companies, right? So research and development. So in the morning we were talking about the research and development in the context of developing different high yield varieties of yield seeds and all. So that is research and development is also one of the important aspects of this one. And the other side, you have the service delivery mechanisms, right? It's connecting you to the markets. And you have the institutions, like the institutions which we were there in the morning, right? So they're also very much part of the ecosystem, right? So that's a typical agri value chain ecosystem in India. So what are the challenges actually the value chain is facing, or in the context of India, if we talk about, right? So primarily the post-harvest losses, right? Lack of facilities at the post-harvest side, and small land holdings, which we have been discussing about, the major problem in India, right? And low availability of quality inputs, which we were also discussed in the morning, right? So access to finance and better market linkages, storage facilities, low yields and productivity, and climate change and extreme weather events. So these are the major challenges currently, the value chain India is facing, right? Not only in India, it's like global challenges, but we are talking in the context of India. So why do we need a sustainable value chain? So the need of the hour is that, like, so you need to develop the sustainable value chains for, uplifting the livelihoods of farmers and the rural population. Food security, so we have been talking about the food security in the context of sustainable development goals. It's a global challenge in the food security and safety, environmental safety, then biodiversity. So what is the impact of agriculture and in the context of biodiversity and the environment, right? So we need to build sustainable value chains to address all these challenges, right? So there's a dire need of developing sustainable agri value chain platform to improve productivity and profitability, right? And also at the same time, we need to build a robust climate resilient agriculture value chains. So with this, I just wanted to invite my colleague Dr. Alok to explain how exactly we are addressing these challenges, and what we doing at Leads Connect to bring what kind of innovation we are doing it, and how did we develop our platform Agri, right?
Uh, Firstly, good evening, respected delegates. Due to time constant, I would like to keep it very, very brief. And but yes, so I have heard few of the very important points today. I was hearing all the lectures, so I wanted to point it out regarding the millets and all. So there are few concerns like we discussed today about the role of millet in the context of environment also, the supply demand also, and mostly if I would like to sum it up in the context of sustainability. But there are few, sorry, excuse me. So, but there are few things which we need to understand, and if we ignore this one, then there will always be gaps. It is not about millets or when we talk about sustainability or something. So I would like to point it out, but I'll keep it very, very brief because tomorrow also we have one presentation lined up. And as our respected MD, Mr. Navneet Ravikar sir, today morning discussed that we are launching Dhari also, and for the Bangalore also. So Bangalore also. So what we would like to mention that whatever we are saying, it's all interconnected with each other. Why we are saying this one? As Mr. Bharath mentioned, that these are the possible challenges. Why? Today, what I heard that we are talking about millets. When we talk about sustainability, there are three things based on the literature and based on our understanding that the balance has to be there. And in the context of agro-ecosystem, we need to take care of those things. Not from the perspective of only value chain, operational function, technical, but from the technical side also. So sustainability means to keep the balance between environment, economy, and society. If I have a liberty to tweak it a little bit, then I would like to keep it in this manner that economy instead of environment, ecology, and then society to keep it in the context of empathy. Why am I saying this one? Now, in the context of millet, I'm saying. So, millet, we discussed that the way we have now the supply demand issues. And we were saying that we are taking care of the food security, we're trying to address the food security issues, but somehow we are ignoring this nutritional quotient issues. So there millet comes into the picture. Plus, in other crops, there are water footprint and all, it's like very high. Millet again comes into the picture. Then again, when millet comes into the picture, then it takes care of the health issues also. Then I put it in the category of empathy. But my simple question is that, why did we miss this? Because if we have a system or we have a robust mechanism that if any farm or anything, the moment we try to estimate any kind of crop suitability or food production, and we're trying to address that in the truest essence about the food security, then how can we miss that it is not about production? If to achieve optimal production or to feed the demand, if you are decreasing the fertility and after few years, if it gets converted into some kind of infertile land, then we have not achieved anything. We killed the entire area. So it's not sustainability. So how can we miss this one? When we're talking about crop suitability, how is it possible that we can miss this important aspect? Where are the systems, where are the technologies, and where is the research? So when we started working on this one, we understood that when we work on agriculture, we have to include the ecological variables at core. And it's not about meteorological mapping, environmental mapping that we take care, we are studying rainfall parameters or something. We have to work on the core ecological, and it has to be the base of the agro-ecosystem. So I will go into the little bit details, but today we'll not discuss much. Tomorrow again we have a presentation, so I'll go into this one. Now, so what we did, we tried to develop a system, and it is totally research-backed. It means when we started working on that, and with all responsibility, we are saying this one, that we tried to consider all parameters which should be used to ensure that agro-ecosystem becomes sustainable. It means when we say farm to khet se kitchen and all, it's fine. As Mr. Bharath mentioned, that value chain, if I have to put it in a very simpler terms, then I will put it like value chain means you bring all stakeholders at one place, and it should be interconnected in such a manner that it should add some value. Plus, there are few things which we need to understand that if you want to make any value chain sustainable, then this interconnection has to be sustainable. Now, how can we ensure this one? So what we observed that if we are only trying to study crops or something, if we are not considering the things that we are using to enhance the productivity or the timeline that it is going to affect that area in next 10 years, 20 years in this manner, and then plus when we are choosing the crops, is it really suitable for that region? Because in last decade, now, this climate aberration and weather event, it is no more confined to boardroom discussions. It's a reality. Everyone is witnessing this one. So we understood that when we study agriculture, we have to study agriculture as an event, but it is a part of ecosystem. Every factors needs to be in the picture. Every factor has to be construed because whatever we are observing and the way it is impacting agriculture, it is a consequence of something which may not be happening near us, maybe in some mountain region or something, but it is affecting the entire thing. So the entire idea we have segregated into three parts: the flexibility, context-specific solution, and user-driven analytics. The idea is we need to bring all ecological aspects into the picture, the core agricultural variables, and all the beneficiaries, all the stakeholders, and how is it going to achieve the last mile objectives. So we understood that if we need to create a platform or something, the first thing is that we have to onboard the stakeholders. Stakeholders have to be there. Why? If I have to keep it very simple, so I will wrap it up with like a brief statement. Somewhere in some region A, we have a very good productivity. We have we have achieved a very good produce of some crop, but we are not getting optimal market linkage. So the entire purpose is defeated. Now in some area, that market is ready, but the crop, there is a scenario of crop failure. Again, purpose is defeated. So it means we need to ensure, and then third case also, even if it is meeting, but in the next 3-5 years, if it is going to make the entire region infertile, or if it is going to affect the fertility of that region, then again purpose is defeated. So to understand this one, I'm not passing this comment from the textbook side, book side or something. We did a pilot study in Bareilly, and we tried to understand the land use potential, the impact of land use on the food produce for next 40-45 years. We had some findings, and we have submitted all those reports also. We understood that the way land use has been transformed, it is also affecting the agricultural produce. The areas in Bareilly, which seems fine right now, but the trend is very much clear that in the next 8-9 years, 10-20% depletion will be there in the food produce in that area also. Now, to counter this, what actually we need to do? So hyperlocal advisory then means these are the terms. So I will wrap it up with like a brief statement that hyperlocal analytics on risk assessment, causal analytics, transition dynamics, process-based ensemble analytics, fine. These are all terms that we can use on this one. The most important thing is this, that at the most granular level, we need to identify that what are those biophysical factors which is affecting that yield in any way. If there are any external thing that we are using to enhance that the productivity in that area, but because of that external entity, if the biophysical dynamics is being disturbed, then it's a gone case. So sooner or later we'll pay for this. Then we understood, is it so simple that, okay, fine, from that side of ecological or environmental, meteorological, will take care of these things. So what about those socioeconomic conditions and all? It means we need to take care of these factors also. We need to have a robust fintech interventions in this system. So what we did, that we developed a platform, what we are saying Agri, where all stakeholders are there, from farm, the farm is geotagged, entire farm analytics is there, yield prediction is there, pre-harvest, post-harvest, and I would like to share that this product is in use. We have already submitted few of the projects to the nodal agencies of the Indian government, and we are currently engaged with some state governments also. So we are working with this one. Agri is in it for first level underwriting. Mr. Bharath will again show the platform capabilities for the first level underwriting also. So what we understood that farm mapping, stress analytics, pre-harvest assessment, post-harvest assessment, but we need to take care of the fintech interventions also, and it should be very, very seamless that all stakeholders should be the part of this system seamlessly and can contribute seamlessly. And the most important thing is that whatever we say, we have to give the regions. Whatever we say, we have to give the scenarios, because now the weather conditions are very dynamic. And plus, I would like to take this opportunity to, as a student of science, I would like to share this one based on our experience, what we observed. Whenever anything happens, we start quantifying meteorological parameters, rainfall patterns, and everything. But actually there is a gap. What happens? This is a pattern. The root regions are different. So if we are not quantifying the process, we are quantifying the meteorological patterns right now. We are saying that this is the heat island effect or this is the heat waves and all. After a few years, this event will change. This event will shift from region A to region B. Again, we will be quantifying these parameters for region B, but process is not fixed. So that's why we took and we started doing one more pilot study, because and for 16 different states. That is called Dhari, that our MD sir today announced. Means, what is the role of ecosystem complexity on these events? So we finished the study for Rudraprayag. We'll share a preliminary finding for Rudraprayag for Uttarakhand. We finished the study for different basins. So although it may look very different, it may look strange that how these things are interconnected. Everything is interconnected. We are simulating those things. So we have completed the entire study for Brahmaputra Basin, Alaknanda Basin, Jhelum Basin, and now for the entire for Rudraprayag area, and for the food ecosystem also. So we actually created 3 products from 2 different companies. First one is the Agri, and Agri is not just about agriculture, it's agricultural and disaster risk analytics using next intelligence. It means we are saying that if we really want to study agriculture, please make stress parameters as base, because whenever just quantifying the pattern will not work. Next, we released PICStack from the next tech side, the totally climate tech product, and then we started working on the Dhari to understand the real impact of the ecosystem if we really want to sort out this problem. So these are the different models. So because of time constant, I will not go into the details. I would like to request Mr. Bharath to wrap it up.
So with that understanding, we developed an entire ecosystem. So it's not just about only the platform which we built, but it's like a fiscal model which we have implemented, right? So because when we are addressing a problem like an agriculture value chain or the ecosystem kind of a problem, so we need to address it both physically and digitally, right? So it's like the platform is deployed through different digital interfaces to various stakeholders, but at the same time we also implement this solutions at the physical grassroots level where the farmers and FPOs are located. So this is the digital half where we have different customer-facing apps or like user-facing apps like Agrani Sati. These are like our field-level executives or village-level entrepreneurs who wanted to provide services to the farmers or FPOs. They can onboard onto a platform. They can offer loans. They can give insurance services to the farmers and FPOs. Even they can provide advisory services. They can aggregate the produce from FPOs and then provide other end-to-end value chain services. And the other app is the Agrani Kisan, that is for farmers. Farmers can also register in the app. So it is available in multiple languages. So they can apply for loans, they can geotag their farmland, they can maintain entire their portfolio. Even they can apply for bank loans, they can get insurance in real time. So they can connect to the nearby FPOs, they can sell the produce to the FPOs, they have the real-time mandi prices for price forecasting. And there are other various services which you are offering through Agrani Kisan app. And the other one is Agrani Pro app, that is for businesses, for FPOs, FPCs, for manufacturers, for retailers, for processors, food processors, even for even banks and financial institutions also. So they can use this to provide services for the aggregation of produce in the trading and other activities. Even FPOs can onboard the farmers. FPOs can digitize the farmland. FPOs can apply for loans on behalf of farmers, or even FPOs can apply the loan for setting up food processing units or any other government-related schemes. So the other one is the web dashboard for different related activities for monitoring the farmlands and Even there are various stakeholders who are involved in using this in the back office. Like even banks can also see wherever the farmer has applied for an FPO or FPO has applied for a loan, they can get that lead immediately and they can sanction or do the first level underwriting. So as Dr. Lok mentioned, so we have also developed our in-house score called agriculture credit score based on this land utility and other socioeconomic indicators. So this will help farmers and FPOs to uh, get a first level of understanding of their fertility of that specific land parcel along with their socioeconomic indicators, because majorly farmers doesn't have a CIBIL score or they don't take the credit from the formal sources. So this score will help the banks in getting that understanding and which can help them in disbursing the loans in much better way. And the other half is so that's the digital half, and the other half is the physical half. The physical half is we are setting up Agrani Kendras, like this is like a physical outlets available at different levels, like be it a GP level or a block level, depends on the requirement or depend on the various parameters, like we assess to total number of users and like clusters. Based on that, we set up this Agrani Kendras and offer services to the various stakeholders like farmers and FPOs. So this can also be like a even Agrani Sathis can also associate with this Agrani Kendras and provide the services. So all the services which we are offering through the digital platforms can also be availed through this physical Kendras. So this is like a model Agrani Kendras, they're available at block level or a GP level. So they can get multiple services from here. So if we talk about the benefits of using this platform, like from farm to kitchen, so the entire value chain platform. So it's like a unified platform for all these stakeholders, right? So when we are onboarding, as we spoke about, we are onboarding all the stakeholders of the ecosystem, and we are providing them, like be it farmers, farmer groups are there, manufacturers, with enabling the market linkages, and you have traders also. They'll be part of the trading for sourcing and buying from the FPOs, and financial institutions for providing loans and insurance. Input companies. So input companies are there to sell the inputs, and we have irrigation mechanization companies for renting out the mechanization or like different services. Even we are also offering drone services. So even drone providers can also be onboarded, and then they can connect to the farmers and provide services, or to FPOs as well. And we have a logistic partners again for the trade, transporting the produce aggregated from the FPO warehouse to the manufacturer's warehouse. Right. So, and we also have a customization available so that if we want to integrate into any existing platform, we can easily do that. So we have developed, it's like a SaaS-based offering, like, users don't have to buy any license. They can directly, they just need to create a login account and then they can avail all the services. We also have APIs to integrate for the, if anyone wanted to integrate into their existing ERP systems or existing solutions, we can also do API integrations. So how to avail the services? It's straightforward. Just they need to download the apps or, from Play Store, or they can register on our portal, and then we do some basic verification. We ask them to enter the basic details, and for FPOs there are little more details: organization name, total land holding, and all the farmers. And we do KYC, and then once we verify, so we give them access, and then they start using the platform. So what are the services they can get is like as I mentioned earlier, from fintech interventions for like loans, and then insurance, advisory services. They can also be participate in the part of market linkages. So user benefits, if majorly we talk about for the financial institutions, so like first level of underwriting, as we spoke about, they can do that using our score. So they get a better understanding of the specific land parcel historically and how it is performing. Even they can also monitor in the current season also, real-time understanding of the specific land parcels. So they can have entire loan portfolio maintained. So it's better visibility of their loan portfolio. So they wanted to understand the performance of their loan books. They can also get that. Even insurance companies, they can get access to the rural market. So they can customize their tailor-made products, insurance products, through parametric products or something. So because they have the visibility of the market. And FPOs, of course, they have, it's like a digital ecosystem we are creating for FPOs. They can monitor entire farmers. They can provide advisory services. They can provide market linkages. They can aggregate the produce. They can also avail the loan and insurance services. And finally, the farmers, like it's like again a unified platform for farmers. They don't have to go to anywhere else. They get all the services required from loan to input, output, and then even advisory services also to enhance yield and productivities. also understanding on the crop management practices. So the major target groups are like if we categorize like into B2B, B2G, and B2C. So B2B is like majorly as we talk banks and financial institutions, manufacturers, FPOs, FPCs, and we have farmer groups. Like and B2G is like governments. The government, as we spoke about earlier, like government is using a platform for acreage, crop classification, and yield estimation, and some other international organizations who also wanted for the policy making in the context of agri-tech or agri value chain. They can also use the platforms to understand that. And of course, the farmers are like end users. So in the B2C, farmers are the target groups. So if we talk about the timeline, so we started Agrani ideation in 2020. So we launched in 2022 the fintech and risk management part, and 2023 we launched the entire value chain in like February, and we started doing the market linkages from December 2023. Traction so far, so we have onboarded more than 5,000 plus farmers, and we have 70 FPOs and 10 traders and one manufacturer who directly is buying from through the platform. And in the banking and insurance side, we have given more than 100 crore plus loans. Out of 70 crores is sanctioned, both offline and through our physical and digital platforms. And we have more than 1,200 loan applications sourced. Again, 50 crore loan applications are sourced through the platform, out of which 20 crores is sanctioned, and 25 lakhs is the premium which is collected through that. So in the context of agri-tech and risk management, so we also help the insurance companies to settle the claims, like in the context of, let's say, when there's any claim raised by a farmer due to some extreme events or calamity. So we also help them in settling the claims faster using remote sensing and weather parameters. So we also conduct the crop cutting experiments, for the yield and the yield modeling in the context of statistical yield models, right? So we also help monitor the crop health, for different requirements. So we monitored more than 1 lakh crop health. So this also helps us in building the digital database on even crop spectral profiling, which will be used for strengthening the platform or in the context of modeling. As I mentioned, we have settled claims more than 50,000 plus so far. And so we collected this again. These are GT points as like to understand the crop profiles, create the crop signatures for acreage and classification or for other various activities. So far we have covered cereals, non-cereals, pulses, oil crops, and horticulture crops. So if we talk about the future roadmap, so it's like development of e-mandi marketplace for procurement and trading end to end. So that's what we are working on currently, and extending the credit access to the traders process in the context of invoice discounting and entire value chain financing. Enhancing the advisory module. So currently we are giving advisory module to the farmers and FPOs, but we wanted to enhance this entire advisory module throughout the value chain. And enabling the crop-wise value chains through the digital models. Establishing the cluster-wise kendras across pan-India through our in multiple states for end-to-end agri value chain ecosystem. And enabling the traceability, again crop-wise value chains, enabling the traceability from the farm to the fork, which will be bringing the transparency. Right? And finally, the goal is to enable sustainable, scalable, and profitable agri ecosystem. So this is about the platform, and if we talk about our team expertise, so we have agriculture and agronomy experts, we have AML experts, we have weather experts, remote sensing, we have an in-house software development team, and we have drone pilots, we have majorly a field staff, more than 150 plus in-house, who will be providing services to the different stakeholders. And we have some advisory board, like from different, from University of Bonn, and then there's also senior scientist from some remote sensing director retired from the remote sensing agencies. So if we talk about the technical competencies of the organization overall, so we working in drone analytics surveys. So we are doing extensive research in agriculture. So we have been into claims management services and risk management services. We are into banking, like as I mentioned, we are like a business associate with the SBI, and we are extending this relationship with the other banks also for providing entire end-to-end value chain loans or value chain financing in fact. And we have IT enabled services also part of it. So that's why we are building these digital systems. And climate analytics, as Dr. Lok mentioned about like the other two products, so we are able to build those products by doing research in climate analytics and even this disaster management, risk reduction. And the Radix is the our innovation unit where we actually do the research, and then once the testing is done, then we'll bring into our platforms. And that's where the core research happens in our organization. So if we talk about our projects, broadly, so we have worked in disaster management, in agri-tech, agri-risk management, and of course in the disaster, in climate tech, also providing some agriculture-related services to the stakeholders like NABARD, NAPCONs, and insurance services. So these are like our clients in terms of, different services which we have delivered. Yeah, so I'll quickly walk through the platform, lack of time. So so this is like, as I already showed you, the different stakeholder facing apps. This is like, so onboarding, I would just like to play this video if it plays. Anyway, it's a simple process where you can download the app and just register, and there's a consent, OTP-based consent, and once that OTP-based consent, the form needs to be filled. And after that, we do a basic first level of verification, and then we give access to the FPOs. Once FPOs are onboarded, so this is like a verification process on the portal, the admin side. Once they have the verification done, so they'll be able to access our platform, both in the web also and then app, which is available. They can upload their farmers, and they can, in fact, geotag if they wanted to, or if they wanted to take our services through our Agrani Sathis, they can also request for that, and then our Agrani Sathis will be deployed to geotag the farmlands and onboard the farmers and complete the profiling. And so this is again Kisan app, that is our farmer app. Again, it's available on Play Store, so they can get all the services whatever I have spoken about earlier. And this is also available on Play Store in multi languages, and users can try it. These are some of the screenshots. Just walk through it, this is the registration part. So we do a complete profiling of the farmers so that we can understand. The FPOs can understand better, or even the farmers can have a better understanding of their farmlands, even their income, expenses, liabilities, so that the banks can have a better visibility of their entire profile, and then they can provide loans to them. They can also directly apply for a different lead generation for different kind of loans, and also for the insurance. And this is a pro app, as I mentioned, like for businesses, FPOs, CBBOs, manufacturers, and processors. And this is their profile. They can manage their profile. They can manage their farmlands. They can add the crops. They can get the management practices. They can participate in the trade. And this is the FLE app, like field level executives. So they can download it and then geotag and then do entire profiling. This is like a lead generation part for loans and all. So I'll just quickly walk through it. So once lead generation happens, it comes to our CRM portal, and then we do a first level underwriting and submit to a bank, and then banks will disperse the loans. This is a verification, KYC verification using Aadhaar and PAN. And this is our rule engine based on some certain parameters. We provide that underwriting, and we do the underwriting and then provide these applications to the banks. And banks, currently we have a association with SBI, but we are, as I mentioned earlier, we are extending this to other banks also. So this is like a dashboard for banks to understand their entire loan portfolio across the states and how many loans have been issued, so they can have a better visibility of their loans. So this is a score which we have developed called Agriculture Credit Score, which banks can view, and it's like a CIBIL score for typical consumers, but it's on the scale of 20 to 100. So 75 and above is like good, and then between 50 to 75 is average, and then less than 50 is like poor. So again, this is a B2B, this is for majorly for FPOs who wanted to set up PMFME or AAF kind of a loans. They can enter the lead generation, they can apply for loans, or even our FLEs can capture the data. They can create the DPRs and then submit it to the banks and help them hand-holding, capacity building, and then help them in getting the loans for setting up the food processing units in the like various schemes like PMFMA and AIF schemes. Like, so we also geotag the infrastructure so that we need to monitor for the future purposes for the end-use related activities. We'll be able to monitor it. Even the banks also on demand for monitoring the or geotagging the infrastructures. And this is like a web portal which we have built for even FPOs. Some FPOs who have more already progressive in terms of handling more than 10,000 farmers or more 2,000 farmers who wanted to have their entire portfolio managed, where they have a executives already, so they can also manage their entire farmers. They can upload the farmers. They can have the visibility of all the farmers, what crops they are growing, an entire crop cycle. They can generate the leads for trading, and even the manufacturers, if anyone is manufacturer is raising a lead for procuring, they will be able to connect it to them, and then they'll be able to participate in the trade. So this is a ACS again for that specific land parcels. This is ACS is not only used for banking but also for crop health monitoring also, and for historical and current we can generate it and then see how that specific land parcel is performing. So these are sort of we are using different satellite derived indices, weather indices, drone data sets, and multiple parameters. So this is like a satellite derived indices, which is gives understanding of the specific land parcel historically, how it is performing, and what are the variations in that crop cycle. And this is on the weather parameters. Again, this is like a risk management part which we do for different other activities, crop related activities. So we have a crop analytics, as we spoke about, so which we understand end to end in the context of not only agriculture but more in the context of ecosystems, so we do crop. We also generate the crop analytics using satellite data sets and do spectral profiling for better yield modeling and other related activities. Yes, so this is a walkthrough of the platform. Of course, users can, so there are some modules which we are enabling to FPOs for the ease of use, and some modules which we only do handle at the backend. Just we provide services. Some modules are available through apps and they can download and use it. So this is aggregation and trading module where FPOs can aggregate the produce in at the time of harvesting, and then they can connect it to the manufacturers. Yeah, thank you. So any questions or queries, please. Thank you.
Yeah. I think because since we are in the end of the day, there are no questions as of now. But if there's any questions, please do take them on an offline. Mr. Bharath and Mr. Alok is there. And yeah, can I request Ms. Chaitra to please felicitate our guests for the evening? Thank you, Mr. Bharath and Mr. Alok. So probably we would like to know more about you in the tomorrow session. Yeah, thank you. So we are at the end of the day of our day one activities, and I'm sure that all of you must have been exhausted with the events that have happened today. But before I can let you all end for the day, I'll just deliver my thank you speech to one and all. We at Lagu Udyog Bharati Karnataka, along with the IMS Foundation, would like to thank all of you for coming in for the event and making this event a successful one. First of all, I would like to thank our supporters for this particular event. That's BMS College of Engineering and Big Foundation. Also, we would like to render our thanks to our sponsors, that's Good Food Institute India, that's GFI, and also the National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management, that's NIFTM from Tanjavur, and Karnataka State Agricultural Produce and Processing and Export Corporation, KPAC, the Agricultural and Produced Food Products and and Export Development Authority, that's APEDA. And also would like to thank Indian Federation of Culinary Associations and Canara Bank as well. Also, we would like to extend our thanks to our Leads Connect and BIL Agro, and our co-sponsors, National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD, and Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, that's FSSI, Ministry of Food Processing Industries and Government of India as well. And also our technical partners, that's Millets Card, a special thanks to them. Now it's my pleasure in thanking our speakers for the first half of our day. That's Mr. Navneet Ravikar, founder Leads Connect and Leads Next Tech. And also Mr. G. Kamala Vardhana Rao, an IAS officer and CEO at FSSI, that's the Food Safety Standards Authority of India as well. And next, I would like to render my thanks to Mr. Ramesh, Chief General Manager from NABARD, and and Professor Palinimuthu, Director at NIFTM, Tanjavur. And we would also like to thank Mr. Dayakar Rao, CEO at NutriHub, and Mr. Dayanand Pai, a chairman from BMS College as well. And also a special thank you to Ms. H.N. Suma, CEO at Big Foundation as well. Now it's my pleasure to thank all of our speakers from the afternoon sessions that we've all heard. The one is Mr. Unnikrishnan Vijayan, Head Procurement from ITC Food Business Division, and also Dr. Alok B Mukherjee, and Director and Co-founder, Led Next India Private Limited, and Mr. Bharath, the Co-founder and Director at Leads Next Tech. And also would like to thank Mr. Ayanna Belliappa, who is a Senior Innovation and Entrepreneurship Specialist at Good Food India Institute, India as well. And also the packing industry expert, Mr. Kiran Kumar Ranganath, a founder of Graphitic. Lastly, I would like to say special thank to all the members who have assembled here for the evening, and hope you all had a good enjoyment, and looking forward for the next day, for tomorrow's session also. And also would like to thank our sponsors, not sponsors, the office bearers of Lagu Udyog Bharati Karnataka as well. Yeah. Thank you so much, one and all.